Welcome. Now in this module, we're going to take a look at ISO 27001 Controls Appendix Part 4. And we are going to talk about access control. Access control is a very important and critical part of information security and also of ISMS. And this is one of the longer control sets as well. So access control is A.9 and it has 13 controls altogether. Now in access control, the first control objective is business requirements of access control. So we need to have an access control policy and we need to control access to networks and network services. So access to networks and network services control 912. In the green section, it says users should only be provided with access to the network and network services that they have been specifically authorized to use. So this would ensure that we are giving access to networks and network services through, let's say, network admission control, or through segregation of the network, or through authentication to a particular resource as well. And that is A912. Now, under access control, the second control objective, 9.2, is user access management. And this is very important because this is the entire ID management lifecycle. You can say it's the ID management lifecycle, user access management. 921 is user registration and deregistration. 922 is user access provisioning. Then we have management of privileged access rights, management of secret authentication information of users, review of users' access rights, and then finally, removal or adjustment of access rights. So these are 6 controls under user access management under the group control of access control. So let's take a look at some of them in more detail. Management of privileged access rights, 923. The allocation and use of privileged access rights shall be restricted and controlled. So this is the control where we're saying that whenever we have an administrator or a super user, we need to manage the privileged access rights in such a manner so that we are following the least privilege principle. Whatever the privileges are required, which are a minimum set in order to get the job done, it should always be the least privilege principle. And we should not give the privileges in excess of the role. And we also have another term, which is role-based access control. So relevant to the role, we will assign the minimum set of privileges required to get the job done. Now, we have 925, review of user access rights. Extremely important control, often missed in the industry. And the industry requires a lot of discipline to do this. So asset owners shall review user access rights at regular intervals. So what you actually do is you look at the role-based access control matrix that you have developed, which users are there, what access rights have they been given, and we ask business users for all their users, or we look at the system, and then we look at the authorizations which are in place for the users and what rights they should have been given, and we look at the systems and actually do an audit to determine what are the roles which they have actually been given and compare that with the roles that they should have been given, which are the authorized roles. Now, removal or adjustment of access rights here says access rights of all employees and external party users to information and information processing facilities shall be removed upon termination of their employment, contract or agreement, or adjusted upon change. So when people actually leave the organization, which could be contractors as well, then you need to adjust or remove the access rights. And this is one of the main reasons for large amount of the breaches that we have in the industry. A lot of people leave the organization, their IDs and their rights are still exactly the same way configured on the systems, and then somebody could use those IDs in a malicious manner and cause harm to the organization. Under access control, we have the third control objective, user responsibilities. So this says use of secret authentication information. And further description of the control is users shall be required to follow the organization's practices in the use of secret authentication information. And A.9 access control says system and application access control. So here we have 5 controls: information access restriction, secure logon procedures, password management system, use of privileged utility programs, and access control to program source code, which is very important. So now, after, in the previous control objective, we had looked at user access control. Now we're looking at system and application access control and trying to control the access control of the system and the application and, for example, the source code. So password management system 943 says, password management system shall be interactive and shall ensure quality passwords. So when the user logs on for the first time, it should ask for the temporary password, and then if the user, once the user enters the password, it should accept it, the temporary password, and then it should ask the user immediately to change the password. And then the password management system should be interactive because it should perhaps, as per policy, not accept the previous 5 or 10 passwords, and that depends on the policy of the organization. And then the password management system could alert the user when the password is about to expire. So that's the manner in which the password management system can be interactive. And then 945 says access control to program source code. Access to program source code shall be restricted. And that was access control, a very important, very important group level control. And let's look at cryptography and physical and environmental security in the next module. Thank you.